Welcome to the Bigboomriver channel. This is going to be a live play and explain video. Already played 1.3k hands, was running pretty good, feeling good, playing good. And I thought that's a good time to make this play and explain video. We're playing 3 tables Zoom poker. Think we are around 40 players in the pool, so pace is quite good. Friday afternoon, so let's see what we get. I try to explain as good as I can, and yeah, let's get into the action directly. Pool pretty interesting. Some 100 and even some 200 NL players in the pool. For some reason, 100 NL not running. So we will get some nice deep stack action against some of the better players. For example, him. Red label means proven solid reg. And yeah, also some pretty wild whales in the pool. So yeah, let's see what we get. Yeah, definitely like 3-betting here the tens. Would have also called deep a 4-bet. But no action this time. But yeah, like you see, pool looks very solid. Quite a bunch of fish around. And nice to see that PokerStars is a little bit back. Games are running frequently. Yesterday, the 100 NL normal tables run like around the clock, I think. But like you see him, for example, you see him also in the 200 NL Zoom pool. So goal of the session is definitely also to bring you the Jurojin software a little bit closer. I tried to explain this as good as I could in the last play and explain video, but I hope to get some spots where I can go a little bit more into detail and show you which, yeah, in my opinion, incredible edge you can gain with that. On this board with the backdoor flush draw, I think we have a pretty nice raise here in position. Very likely that he's range betting, and we don't care so much if we get a 3-bet and fold, but we pick up some pretty nice turn cards where we can continue bluffing. Against the fish, draw your ace high board, I think c-betting is the play. You need to be very careful not to do this against better players. But here they will not find even close enough raises. So the range bet will always outperform other plays in my opinion. Here we play against the reg and we see that he is very tight with check raises, and that also allows us to c-bet more than the solver allows us. And when he check raises, the likelihood that he has it is pretty high, but we see that's his first or like second check raise in 24 or 24 opportunities, so we just let it go. Definitely small sample size still with the, like his check raise there, but big enough for me to start exploiting that tendency. So I'm definitely going to adjust if we see more check raises, but we will see that in our data very, very fast. Overall approach in this pool definitely is to go for thin value because most guys here are pretty sticky, and to overbluff, but also to overfold against aggression because it's a fast fold format where people tend to not play loose enough. And I think here we just have showdown value and check it down. Very nice. And important to note that he didn't bluff. So with the jack 10 suited there, like minimum he should should probe the turn. Here against a solid reg, not much need to 3-bet. Think we want to be more polarized, and tens is, in my strategy, a pure call. Against the 25%, I think we can peel, try to hit a jack. Could think about check raising actually, but I think on boards like this people tend to be sticky and they have so much value that I just don't want to, don't want to go for it. I think also if I would have a straight, I think I prefer staying in the check call line because the spot is also like very likely over barreled, but not 100% sure if my approach there is correct. Against the fish sizing up a little bit, I think 1/3 would be the standard. Queen's going to see bet small. And now we just try to get maximum value on the deuce. Hope he has ace-6, ace-deuce. Overbet. Don't need to go too big here. Actually, this guy has pretty reggy stats, so maybe he got his fish label too early. And I think on the jack, if he's not probing, we can go for the delayed c-bet, but with king high against the probe, we just fold. I think jack 4 here performs pretty well as a bluff. Want to be very polarized from the big blind, so mixing in the worst suited jack X there that we are going to continue. And I think on this board we for sure don't want to range bet, but our hand doesn't have any showdown value and folds out some pairs. And if we pick up for sure some equity with our backdoor flush and backdoor straight draw. And I think on this card, interesting. I think I like the barrel. For sure he has some 7s and 6s, but also like quite a bunch of middling pockets that float against the small bet. And of course that sucks. Nothing we can do than folding. Going to check this one. I think I have enough ace-x that wants to triple. So I need to find bluffs, and that jack 4 hand has some outs, so yeah, I guess it's alright. Not sure if it's solver approved. And oh, this guy looks like pretty nitty. Correct, right? Yes. Also solid rack. Think also a viewer of the channel. I think he texted me a couple of days ago. This is a pure fold against the bigger sizing. Not sure. Think letting it go this time. And with the nit in the big blind, we can definitely open raise here. We also like to get involved into with the passive whale here in the small blind. Isolating the fish. And here... I think open raising the 4-3 suited would have been alright. Against a nit dong, that's an easy fold. That is a little bit too loose to 3-bet, like against the early position. So very important not to involve yourself into spots that are unnecessary. Over limping here against the fish with our suited jack. Thing is the play, so definitely thin, definitely could think about folding, but I guess against the fish it's alright, and not going to start bluffing here. It was just like investing the half big blind, try to hit something good, but we didn't, so we don't start bluffing here out of position against two players. And now 7 is definitely tempting because we have it quite a bit, but I think we stay disciplined against the fish. Maybe saved. Yeah, I would have went for a pot bet, so saved maybe 3 big blinds. But also a good chance that he was bluffing, so I wouldn't hate a bluff there. Pretty solid board. He should not have that many 2 pairs, so we size up. I think 75% is the sizing. Calling against the fish. Not really our board. Could peel, but also we are like quite a bit dominated, so we just let it go. There will be better spots against the fish, and also out of position bluffing against the fish is not really the way to go. So staying disciplined here is, I think, better. Here we have a very clear squeeze in my opinion. Also interesting, like this guy played 1 million hands. That's for a recreational player quite a high number. On the A-side board, I think c-betting small is the way to go. And this is actually close, like the pool under 3 bets quite a bit from the big blind. This is 2.8 seconds, so I don't expect it to be very polarized. So we make the disciplined fold. Getting a check raise. Normal timing. We cannot fold yet. And now he checks the turn. We're blocking the flush. The flush draw. So could step here, but I think checking is the way to go. And calling rivers. Hope to get a bad underpot size, and I think, yeah, against this we have an easy call. So ace 4 is very ambitious. Like, don't really understand like where he wants to get value from. Maybe flush draws, but then he builds a big pot out of position. So this is a clear overplay. Yeah, very important to note here that he likes to check raise medium strong hands. Against 2 big blinds, I think ace deuce is good enough to call. Against 2.5 big blind, it would be already a fold. Here we range bet. I think it performs alright. Maybe not the best play, just seen I have 27 hands. What I'm doing, what I'm having is I have a stat that shows me how aggressive people raise against flop c-bet, and he never did it, but then I noticed he has 27 hands, so I think checking here is a better play, to be honest. Easy fold here. Definitely checking on the ace, a very overbluff card. So ace on the river is the most bluff card for aggressors. And he goes for the big sizing. It's also like one card straight possible. I don't think he has it, but he can have a bunch of 2 pairs. So I don't think we are strong enough for raising, but we have a clear call. Yeah, unlucky he got the vector flush there. So getting punished immediately for defending the ace deuce off. And this guy's 3 bets tight, so just 6% of about 1k hands, which is already like quite a good sample. So not thinking about cold 4 bets. Checking back this board with jacks, pretty mandatory in my opinion. And after he checks twice to us, we delayed c-bet. Don't need to go too big, targeting a 10 or a 9, and having definitely equity in case getting called, and a potential river bluff in certain scenarios, or another value bet. Second favorite hand here. Getting the call, no info at all on him, so we c-bet. I think small sizing is the way to go here. He has 8-6, what we don't have, so we need to check back quite high frequency, but I think kings, queens, jacks like to bet anyway. Also would expect somehow high frequency check raises with nutted hands, so we barrel, don't bet big, targeting 9x of the fish. And against my small sizing, I also expect quite some raises with like medium strong hands. So the river is quite ugly because he gets there with a few 6x combinations. Not sure if he's going to pay off a triple barrel with 9x, so we go for the tight check back. That's alright. Got the max there, like as long as we were ahead. We got some showdown value, check back. And against the fish, we exploitatively size up to 50%. I think my standard sizing would be 1/3. And against the big step on the river, tighter looking guy, but he has so much crap, so I think we just call. Very nice. Yeah, very easy to overbluff in this river probe line after check check flop and check check turn. And after you check back here, we go for the delayed c-bet. very overfolded by recreational players. Don't expect them to have too much ace-x in his range. That checks back a flush draw flop. And now we try to make queen x indifferent by overbetting. And getting the call by threes is of course insane. So over bluffs. And here we fold, taking a note about our friend here. Yeah, like he calls a cutoff, was under the gun, check back the flop and called like against the delayed c-bet line. This line is normally very overfolded, but when he decides to call there, this is a potential cold 4-bet, but he is a guy that's 3-bets tight. 8 is a fold, so we don't cold 4-bet the ace queen. Very important, like against regs, cold 4-bets are very good because they are overfolding against that, but you need to be careful not cold 4-bet into nits, because the ranges of the nits are too strong, so that you don't get the necessary folds that make your cold 4-bet profitable. So if you play against nits, just cold 4-bet for value. Against regs, really often it's profitable to even overbluff in the cold 4-betting line. But key indicator, of course, 3-bets that. So playing now against the whale, and they're in position. We have a 50% c-bet on the flop, and after that we go for a triple barrel on basically any run out. 8 is a little bit ugly, but definitely still good enough for a value bet. So here we play against a reg that is not going to open, not going to step too much with the whale behind. So I do something that I would not do in many scenarios. I go for the half pot value bet. This guy is pretty handcuffed, cannot bluff too much with the whale behind. So we just play very honest and go for the B50. Maybe repeating this hand, very interesting. Like this guy is a reg, this guy is a whale. And in this scenario, I'm just thinking about where the value comes from. And the value clearly comes from the whale. And this guy plays very passive, so I really want to triple barrel against him. I expect this reg to think somehow similar about the spot, so I don't expect him to reopen the action very light. So I guess c-betting here myself is the way to go against the passive whale, and also going for bigger sizing. So in this case 50%. If there would be like 2 regs in the pot, looks a little bit different because out of position we are normally not really interested in building the pot. So yeah, need to be a little bit more careful then. Here, just letting it go. Unknown player going to range bet. And here I think we can step, but on this board like this I don't like to step a lot, so I'm using, if I step, a bigger sizing, so it's a 75%. And I guess we are just overbetting the river. I think on the ace 8 4 I don't expect him to check back too much ace x. He has lots of medium strong hands, also clubs, maybe something like 10-9. Yes, we have some showdown value against that, but I don't want to really bluff catch, so we just overbet. And pretty sure against this double pro blind people are going to overfold quite a bit. Happy that it worked this time. But very nice pool today. Like we see basically on every table on average minimum 1 to 2 fish. So here 2. Need to stay disciplined, wait for our spots. Of course it's some reg battling at some at some point, but yeah, the value definitely comes from the recreational players. Plan was to show you more deep stack action against the better players in the pool, but didn't get the spots yet. And yeah, against a small c-bet this is a pure call. Without a backdoor, or with a backdoor flush draw, we could have thought even about check raising there. So now things are getting interesting. People under barrel a lot on the flush connect. So I guess we go for pot size against this top pair and overbets. And definitely fold against the raise. People like to trap a little bit here. So yeah, just targeting his overpairs. And I think 100% is better than overbet there, because I would even expect them to overfold against my overbets there. Again, nit, range bet. That's the way to go. Ah shit, 10-9 is an open, like especially with 2 fish in the blinds. I think here we can squeeze. Looks a little bit tight on the first view, but also just 38 hands. I guess king queen performs here pretty well. But against the under the gun call, we don't want to range bet here, and I think go for the check is the way to go. See what he is doing. I think he would start stabbing his nines to queens basically always. So let's hope for a free card and then bluff against his back checking range. Yeah, and against that I think we just let it go. Not bluffing against the whale. Or no. And we win 9 high like a boss. Yo, checks down the 6-4. Very nice, bro. Jack 3 is a fold. We are going to 3-bet Jack 4 and call Jack 5 suited plus. Interesting board. Playing against actually a nitty fish. We have the note that he is very sticky. So what we do is c-bet flop for checking back turn. Yeah, don't want to get check raised. Have some showdown value, so keeping an eye on my timing. And that's what we do. We just hit the nuts on the river. And I think betting pot is the way to go. Here we go. This board is pretty bad, so we check. So much better for the in position player, and that's why I tend to range check here. A little bit too wide. I would expect him to step with Moses 9x, so we block to see the river as cheap as possible. Of course, super happy if he folds. That's very passive. Like, I think with his air, he should basically step always to put me in a pretty tough spot with my ace highs or a king highs or whatever. Rarely seeing a Korean player playing too passive. Like, in live poker, they are known for being very aggressive. What's going on here? And here I think I like isolating the fish with 2 regs in the blinds. Having here definitely the option to flat. Cold 4 from the reg. Yeah, he knows. He knows that I like isolating him. And I guess no. Pretty wide with 4 bets actually. Let's see a flop. Definitely not folding against a small sizing. That could be a range bet. That turn is pretty sexy, to be honest. And squeezing the ace king. Kings, that's unlucky, bro. Nice one. Uh, 140 big blind jam with a fish where I never have a bluff. Okay, that is 30 big blind dead money. Okay, what do we know about our friend? Forward range queens and kings. Oi, oi, oi. That sucks. Is he really jamming aces there with the fish behind? Don't think so. Looks a lot like ace king. That sucks. Let's go. Queens. Okay, that's a good call. What about ace or king? That's a king. Come on. Vamos. Yeah, pretty insane that he just jams queens. But yeah, looked a little bit weak in my opinion. Wouldn't expect him ever to shove here with pocket aces. Kings maybe, but I thought it's more likely that he's holding like ace king himself, or maybe pocket jacks, hands that doesn't really like to play post flop, and looks like queens are also in that range. Yeah, that were minutes of power. Like, got lucky here with the eights and won the flip against both. Easy. So on this board, I don't want to see bet a lot, but what I want to see bet are the over pairs that need quite a bit of protection. Why did he get? Stats look pretty raggy. Apologizing for the fish tag. So a little bit deeper, cut off against button. I don't think we can fold. King high board. Against a small c-bet, I guess we need to peel one. Check back is interesting, looks already a lot like queens to me. But also don't want to start bluffing him off here of queens. So I'm checking again. Most players on the stakes actually like to range bet this king high boards. Now he goes for the delayed c-bet with the big sizing. Interesting. Yeah, not going to call against that. Yeah, important not to defend enough, or like too much of the offsuit ace X region against the fish. Range bet's small as a play, but just notice that there's a reg on the button. So very different than the scenario earlier where we were c-betting half on the queen x export. Here with the reg on the button, we need to be very careful and checking a lot. We would have considered betting a lot if we knew that there's a proven fish in the blind, but the light blue label there means it's just probably a fish. So we just get out of the way. That turn is pretty nice. I think I start betting myself, 100% way to go. Like light blue, for the guys that are new to my videos, means probably fish. So that's already enough when you limp once or when you have a broken stack. That's just an indicator for me that I'm probably playing against a recreational player. Definitely not a proof. like with him. Like he has a broken stack, but stats look somehow solid, so good chance that we play against the reg. Also his sizing here looks good, so let's give him his reg tag. Here he just goes for the big c-bet. We were 3-way when I remember correctly. This is a 3-bet open. I think we need to peel at least one with the backdoor flush draw. Ace is pretty bad, so we hit it quite a bit. We can have nut flush draws, but against the double barrel we need to say sayonara. 4-bet king queen offers a fold. Isolating the fish here. Important with the reg and the big blind. In other scenarios where reg opens and you have the fish in the big blind, king queen off or ace queen off performs pretty well as a flat. Was implementing like the flats in way higher frequency into my game, especially from the small blind when we have fish in the big blind. 4 big blind open. I think here from the small blind we are strong enough to get the money in. Unknown player. Actually also very solid stats. 3 big blind open of course looks weaker. I think we flat. Sucks a little bit. The flat sucks a little bit because he looks, yeah, very 3-bet happy, and here we go. Directly we get 3-bet. Min click forward. Okay, let's follow the sun. That looks interesting. Not bluffing. Kings against aces. Yeah, that's us. Yep. Not this time. So with the fish in the blind and the nit on the bottom, I think ace jack there's an alright flat on the cutoff. Like, but always when we are flatting we get the squeeze, but yeah, it's just unlucky. Like we've seen before, the guy had kings, so that's a reasonable 3-bet. It's not that the guys here go crazy. And on this board it's like pretty neutral. We can step big or small. When I'm not sure, I just take half pot. So 3-bet. What the fuck is going on? Open 3-bet, min 4-bet, cold call 4-bet from the small blind there. And I think on the flush connect we definitely continue barreling. Very overfolded by him. Most players are c-betting their flush draws themselves. Like that is aces and aces only, right? very interesting. I have no idea what's going on. I have the feeling I have to take away the reg tag. Jam on the ace. Yeah, my friend. Cool call 4-bet. I think we all know what that means. Yeah, I'm seeing that quite a bit, like on the lower stakes. So when people have the nuts, they start doing like fancy shit. But way to go if you have a strong hand, just fast play it. People are under bluffing, so your job is always to get the money in. Yeah, three-way here, we're not going to start bluffing. A little bit too loose. I think ace-9 I would open raise there. Isolating the fish. Yeah, no need to see that. Also cool calling range here hits that board quite well. Also don't think that I like bluffing into two players. Can have easy some traps. Fish can have whatever. So we just don't invest any more money in the sport. But I'm very happy to see that the game is running like probably 24 hours on the weekend. So yesterday it broke, I think, at like 2 p.m. So just loving this. PokerStars Zoom pools, rake is reasonable, game is good. Guys, can just recommend, give it a try. Also, what I can highly recommend are the fast fold pools on WPT and QQPK. Also going to upload plan explain videos from there soon. I have very good rakeback deals with them, so if you are interested in checking it out, give me a message on Instagram and I will connect you. Here I think calling is alright. Interesting. He could definitely go already bigger. Oh yeah. That looks already like a cooler board. He has aces, kings, queens. Now starts checking. I think we just check it back and raise eventually reverse. Would hate to bet and get a check raise on the turn. But if he checks twice to me, I think betting against ace x is the way to go. And here we go. Ace jack. Not sure if he would have called a triple barrel on the flush connect. The pool tends to overfold quite a bit on flush connect turns. So played a little bit trappy. Maybe also overly scared, but he has a clear nut and range advantage. So I don't think that's a bad thing. Check back here against the flat and now go for the probe. And I think we value bet again, targeting his middling pockets. And now he starts raising. That's basically always bullshit, except he has pocket fives. Don't see much value that would take this line. So we have a clear call. Here we go. That's also a good thing about block betting. If you block here, the river looks pretty weak and people start turning random shit into bluffs. Without a diamond, I don't want to see bet here. Definitely no range betting against him. So, and here's a fish. And on flush connect, we unfortunately just need to let it go. On the king high board, I could definitely see bet with the ace of diamonds, but I think I prefer going for the delayed c-bet. Like definitely betting here for value and not bluffing. And I think on the backdoor flush connect, we just check and hope to show that one down. That's alright. Like on the king is a pretty bad card for bluffing. So not even sure if he would have folded his 5 if I bomb it there. Here we start value betting. He checks back this flop. His range contains quite a few ace king, ace queen, king queens. So we value bet. And I think also against him we block the river. Min raise, like snap min raise. Yeah, I don't see a way where we can fold, but that looks, yeah, like my guess is queen jack, ace 10, king 10. That's a little bit thin, bro. Pretty nice present. Yeah, very clear overplay. So I'm crying already calling my ace 10 there, so good chance I'm never calling worse. Nitty fish. I think c-bet is the way to go. Just fooling out random overcards. And yeah, could value bet against flush draws, but I think it's too thin. Snap check back on double pair is basically always a draw. Ace, of course, horrible, connects the spades. Ace, X, and hearts. But we have some showdown value against Queen 10. Yeah, that's alright. Yeah, Ace Queen obviously is 100% 3-bet. So we give him the nit tag. And against the fish, with the 30 big blind stack, we just try to get the money in. Ace jack is always a fold against big blind 3-bet. And we just triple off. Try to get all his money. So video is now running about 1 hour. So I think good time to wrap it up before I blunder. Hope you could learn something. I will publish videos like this more frequent. Ace 4 I think is a pretty nice 3-bet. So yeah, like I'm offering like coachings. I have very good affiliate deals. If you have any questions about that, drop a comment or contact me on Instagram. And yeah, support the channel, press like button, press subscribe, and support me with this Bigboomriver project. I'm super happy. The channel grew from, I think we had in the 1st of January about 200 followers, and now we are at close to 700, I think, or 650. So very happy with this development. Thanks a lot for every follower and every supporter, and let's continue like this. Okay, goodbye from me.